Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Idaho on a family road trip. We've been in Wyoming and Idaho. We're going to South Dakota next. And today I want to talk about is what it's like to travel during the age of COVID. What you should expect and what you should consider before you get out and back on the road, or you're going to be flying places and stuff like that. Because I know people are out traveling again and people are considering traveling again, and we want to give you advice to help you get ready. Okay? The first thing is, you have to decide if you feel comfortable traveling, because the numbers might be down where you want to go or down where you are, and you still might not feel comfortable. That's okay. It's okay not to travel if you don't feel comfortable. But if you do feel comfortable, if you are willing to do what you need to do to travel in this time, then I'm all for it. We are traveling ourselves because we are ready to explore more of the U.S. and take the right precautions. But really, it really comes down to how you feel. If you do not feel ready yet, if you do not feel comfortable to travel, then don't. But if you are, these are tips that are going to help you out, okay? And so what I want to talk about first is really, when you're thinking about traveling, when you're thinking about where you're going to go, look at the travel restrictions of the places you're going to be going to, but also look at the travel restrictions that where you're coming from have. Because what you're going to see is not every city, not every state, not every country, not every region has the same restrictions. Some places will say nobody can come here. Some people will say, oh, people from this state can come here or this country can come here, but others cannot. You have to look these things up, because if you buy a ticket and the travel restrictions don't let you go, it's your fault, because you've now bought tickets when you know there's a pandemic going on. So you have to think is, what other restrictions are going to be there? For example, if you're going to go to the UK and you're from the US, we've thought about this. You go there, yeah, you can go there, but you have to self-isolate, i.e. quarantine, for 2 weeks before you can go out. Oh, okay, so are you willing to spend that 2 weeks sitting in one place? Because some tourists say they're okay to do that, and then they go, then after a few days they leave their quarantine, and that's caused a lot of problems. So you have to look at those restrictions and be ready to, go with them. Now, when you're looking to plan your future trips, I do want to tell you, don't count on the dates. Some countries say, oh, we're going to open up on, November 1st, or we're going to open up the first year, or we're going to open up next week. They may say that now, but those dates may change. Those restrictions might change at different times, and you need to be flexible. You need to realize that, things might not work out. So if you get upset, well, they said they were going to open up December 1st, and they end up not doing it, that is just how it is right now, okay? So you need to be prepared with plan Bs, with backup plans and stuff like that. Because honestly, that's been the toughest part of COVID. People keep asking, when is this place going to open? When is that place going to open? And I'm like, look, right now it says this, but probably it's going to change. And so I can't give you any solid answers because they don't know either. Now, if you do travel and you're getting out there, one thing I will say is make sure you bring your own cleaning supplies. I know you're like, Mark, why do I want to bring all these wipes and this stuff? Well, you know what? You're going to want to keep yourself safe, and so you're going to want to clean things too. Because what you have to realize is hotels, you might stay in a hotel or an Airbnb, they will clean it before you get there. But a lot of hotels now aren't cleaning while you're staying. They only clean after you leave. Maybe you can request them to get the garbage or switch towels, but they're not coming in to clean. So you need to have your own cleaning stuff. I mean, we're on this road trip and we've got the Clorox wipes, we got the spray, we've got paper towels, we brought extra toilet paper because, hey, just in case they run out again. We have these things to be safe, to make sure. And one of the things is that's why what we've done is we actually look at hotel chains and see what is their cleaning policy. I know we went to Hilton's and they had it's clean and it gets sealed. Do they have something like that? Because you really need to go where you feel comfortable, and by knowing their safety standards, that can help you out. But the best safety standards, bring your own stuff so you can make sure. So when we go places, Jocelyn and I will go in first and we'll wipe down all the high traffic areas, all the places the kids would be and stuff like that, just to be safe. Now, another thing you have to make sure you bring and you have with you are masks. And I would bring extra masks as well, because you want to make sure you can wash them if they're washable masks, or you have enough if you have to switch out masks every day. But you need to make sure you bring your mask and wear your mask, because here's the thing. If you want to take the train, Amtrak, you have to wear a mask. They won't let you get on. You want to go on a plane, you got to wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, they'll ban you for life. So you really have to make sure you have your mask with you. Now, it's been pretty easy to find places. Actually, I've seen restaurants that are actually selling masks now, and they're like merchandise. Oh, you can get our t-shirt or a mask. Hey, we do the same thing. You can get a Wolters World t-shirt or a Wolters World mask. But you want to make sure you have those with you. Now, another thing when you're looking to travel, you also want to look at the places you're going to travel to. And the thing is, maybe you want to really focus not on the big city travel. Maybe you focus on traveling to places where it's easier to social distance. I mean, I'm here in Idaho. Do you see anybody around? No. We were in Wyoming before this. We're going to Montana next, then South Dakota, then Iowa. places where there's not a lot of people. It's a lot easier to social distance when there's not a lot of people around. So you might want to consider, in terms of your travel, it's not going to be the big city and 20 museum trip. Maybe it's going to be more outdoors based. I mean, it's up to you, but just something to think about in terms of looking at destinations that allow you to social distance. And sometimes that just means, you know what, we're going to stay here at home and we're going to go to local spots nearby that we know are relatively, you know, social distanceable, I guess you'd say, and then we're close to home, so we have to worry about the cleaning. We don't have to worry about this other stuff, and you kind of go into mini staycations instead. Now, another thing you need to really consider when you are traveling is, you know, you have your guidebooks, you have my videos that tell you where to go, what to see, and stuff like that, and they'll say, oh, their hours are 9 to 6. Well, here's the thing. Make sure you're checking the schedules of the parks, of the museums, of the stores, of the restaurants before you go. Because though it might have said on the guidebook or whatever, oh, it's open 10 to 6, you want to check out what are their hours now, because I've seen a lot of places have adjusted their hours, but also sometimes they adjust the number of people that can come in. You might want to go to that museum, but they're only allowing in 25 people at a time. So am I going to wait in line, or do I need to pre-book my tickets? And this is an issue. If you're looking to go to Disney or other places, there might be new restrictions, whereas before you could show up and get a ticket. Whereas now, no, you got to pre-book everything. So really consider these things when you're looking at your destinations. Now, another thing to think about before you go on your road trip or go on your travels is getting a COVID test before you go. Now, I know they're not always easy to get. I understand that, but planning it out, because some destinations require that you have a test within 72 hours of departure or arrival or whatever. And so maybe get that just for your own peace of mind. I know I got tested before we came on the trip to make sure, like, look, am I good? Are we good? So we feel more comfortable. And when we get back, we're going to test again, because we're not going to go see grandma, on our way back. Let's test to make sure. And that peace of mind you get when you get tested can help you out, and also can help you get into other places if they require tests. Also, another thing you have to consider is when you're traveling during the age of COVID is make sure you're okay being tested, tracked, or apped. Because some places in some countries are saying, look, if you're going to travel here, you need to put a tracing app on your phone so we know where you go. We know you're staying in the location. We know you're staying at the hotel you said you were going to go, and you didn't leave, because tourists have used it, kind of circumvented the rules, right? Like, oh, I got here, I stayed a few days, I feel fine, and they went out. So you're seeing more and more of this tracking software and this kind of stuff. So you also have to look at that. Are they going to be tracing me my entire time I'm there? Are they going to be tracking me? Do I have to get tested when I get there? I mean, these are things you got to think about. In the future, it might be, hey, do you have the vaccine? Do you not have the vaccine? Which vaccine do you have? I mean, this is kind of stuff you're going to have to consider when you're traveling. And not every place does this. Some places are like, hey, come enjoy. It's totally okay. Other places are more strict. That's why it's important you do your research. Now, some other things to really think about. For those of you that like to use miles, I love my miles, I love my statuses, I love all these things, but you got to realize your miles and your statuses and all these things, they don't really mean much right now. The airlines, the hotel industry, they're hurting. They're hurting bad. They're like, we love our dedicated customers, but we got to pay the bills now. And so those extra perks you're used to, don't expect a lot of them to really be as perky as they used to be. Yes, maybe you have, lounge access, but the lounge might not be as fun as it used to be. It might not have as much free stuff as it used to have. Think about these things. You might not get the upgrades as much because, we're not using the center row or something like that. So just be prepared for that. And another thing I think is really important is don't expect discounts. Look, since all these this whole tourism industry has just been destroyed by the coronavirus and the quarantines and everything, that people aren't traveling anymore, they don't have the money to give discounts. I know people say, they're going to have cheap flights to get people traveling again. Well, nobody's really traveling now, so why would I give a discount when no one's traveling? There's no reason. It's not going to inspire anybody. And so don't look for discounts like you used to, because you're probably not going to find them, or at least as often as they were. So be prepared to pay more full price than look for those little discount codes, okay? Now, there are still some out there. I'm not going to say they're all gone, but it is something you need to consider. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is limiting your contact, because social distancing isn't just stand 6 feet away and wear a mask. No, social distancing can be other things in terms of where you go, how you get around, how you do things. For example, you don't need the whole party of 6 or whole party of 5, you don't need the whole party to go and check in at the hotel. Have one person go in, have them check in, have them get the tickets, have them get the keys, You know, if you have them clean, like you want an extra clean room, have them go and clean the room, have that. So it's only one person that's getting exposed versus everybody. Same thing if you're going to get your groceries. Maybe you want to eat in your Airbnb or your VRBO, or you want to do takeout. Have one person go in and do that. So get the orders, have one person do it, because you're just limiting your exposure. Because social distancing isn't just, like I said, the 6 feet thing. It's making better choices, getting less exposure to stuff. I know what we do is I put my mask on, I go into the stores, I go into the restaurants, the kids and Jocelyn, they stay in the car, I bring it back and we go eat someplace. We might go to a picnic place and do it, but you have to think about these things because there's other ways to social distance. And probably the easiest way to social distance is in terms of travel. If you're traveling domestically, instead of taking the train or the plane or something like that, have your own car. Use your car. Do the driving tour. Do the family road trip kind of stuff. This gives you kind of control of the environment. And I do recommend you really clean your car before you go, just so you feel less gross when you're in there, because you're going to be in the car for a while if you're doing a long road trip, right? But just think about that and think about your transportation you're going to use. You know, the airlines you're going to use, what are their, you know, safety protocols, what are their cleaning protocols with the trains as well. How do you feel about that? Because you might see that the train travel, the schedules are different. There might be more delays, or they might let fewer people on, so you have to pre-book a train ticket. So you really need to kind of consider these things. I really probably the best advice I have for you is have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D, because things do change. You might have wanted to go one place and they said, no, people from your state have to wait for 2 weeks. And then you switch to another place, like, no, we're only letting people that are staying on property go into our theme park. You're like, aha, and then you got to change to something else. I mean, it will frustrate you, but just think of it in a positive way. I can plan a lot of different trips and we'll see which one works, okay? Now, I know it's crazy in the time of COVID and trying to figure out how to travel. And believe me, if you do not feel comfortable traveling, it's okay not to travel. I'm not advocating for everyone to get back on the road and get back in the air now. No, you have to do what's right for you. And for us, we felt comfortable to travel again, and we are. And we want to show people in the world, around the world, in the US, that traveling is something we can still do, but you got to be smart and you got to take the precautions and do follow the rules. Make sure you do quarantine if you're supposed to. Make sure you do get tested if you're supposed to, and don't flaunt them, okay? Because we all want to get traveling again. We all want to see this beautiful world, where it's here in beautiful Idaho or Illinois or India or wherever. We hope you have a great time. I want to say thank you to all our patrons on Patreon and our members on YouTube to help make honest travel videos like this possible. It really means a lot. So I want to say thank you to all you superheroes out there, but also want to thank you for watching this video. Do click that like button. If you hit subscribe, we put out new travel videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Anyway, I wish y'all the best. Have a great time traveling or not traveling, whichever you like to do. It's totally up to you. Anyway, wish y'all the best. Bye.